Okay, today what I'm going to show you how to do is set up the Pro impact station here. And what you want to do first, if you're setting it up by yourself, is you want to make sure that everything is in. In other words, the plate that slides goes all the way in, and then you put it, you can see this adjusts up and down, and you want to put it all the way down. So that's how you start. I would recommend using a 6 or 7 iron, at least initially, and then later maybe you can use a driver, and I'll show you the adjustments that we make with the driver. But first thing you do is take your setup with the club face right against the face plate. Okay, so it should be flush against the face plate. And the difference between address and impact, at impact, the hands are going to move more forward, the handle's going to raise, hips are going to get open, right arm underneath the left. So what you want to do is you go into that impact position, and then what we're going to do is this little top piece of the plate right here has to get in line with the shaft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this up to about where I think, and then I'm going to tighten it down. Then I'm going to go into that position again, and what I'm going to do then is I'm going to slide this out until I get it right even, because you can see right here it's even with the shaft. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tighten this down, the thing that slides in and out. So now I've got at the right height, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loosen the handles, and I'm going to match the shaft. And once I do that, I'm just going to hold it in, then I'm going to tighten everything down. Then I'm going to set up, I'm going to go into that impact position again until I get it right. And this takes a little bit of adjustment when you do it by yourself, but you'll get it. Okay, then what I'm going to do is start making swings. And the idea on the impact station is you want the club head and the shaft to touch at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way now so that you can see it a little bit from this angle as well. So here's address, and there's impact. Now how far forward your hands go depends on kind of really what you're trying to achieve. If you feel like you need more lean on the shaft, then you can exaggerate it a little bit more. But typically the hands are on the inside of your left thigh, and at impact they're kind of more toward the middle of your left thigh, and your hips are forward. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm going to take it back up, come down, and again I don't want to let the club hit here first, and I don't want to let the shaft hit the top of this first. I want them to match, so I want them to come in, and then I want to hold that position. And what you do is you take it out on the range, you set it up, you go into this, you make several swings and you hold it, and then what you do is you just step back right here and you go ahead and hit a shot all the way through, okay? So kind of work in and out of the station is the best thing to do. So it takes a little bit to kind of, you know, when you're doing this by yourself and initially getting the adjustments, you know, like I said, you got to get this top edge right here, this edge to be at the very top end of the shaft, okay? Now when you use a driver, if I set this all the way down, let me grab my driver here. If I set up with the driver, you're going to see that the top edge is higher than the shaft. So people would say, well, that's not going to work for a driver, but what you do is you slide this out all the way, and then you slide the plate out and you turn it around. So what we're going to do is we're moving this piece to this side, okay? So all we're doing is taking it out, turning it, then we're putting this back in, and then sliding it back in place like this. Okay, so what that does then is that lowers this down, and we can actually even slide it just slightly more this way, and now it's very low. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing, and with a driver, here's address, because the ball position's more forward. At impact, you're just going to have a little bit of lean. So an iron is a lot more significant lean than a driver. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up, go into impact position, I'm going to raise this up again, and I'm just going to kind of get it, tighten it down, just kind of get an idea. That's still a little bit low. Go a little more. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up, kind of get it fit for the driver, tighten it back down, I'm going to move that out a little bit because I don't want that much lean. I'll show you from the front view in a minute here. Still a little bit low. So you can see it takes a little bit of an adjustment, but once you get it adjusted, then you'll be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to swing back, come in, just still a hair low. There we go. That's right. Okay, now I'm going to take it back, come down, there's my impact position. So if I now turn it so you can see it this way, set up here, there's impact. I'm going to take it up, come down, get the shaft and the club head to touch at the same time. Okay, I'm going to hold that position, trying to keep your shoulders square, and that would be my recommendation. Hips open. So I'm going to do this several times, and then I'm going to step right back again, tee up a ball, and go ahead and hit it. Okay, so you just work back in and out of the station, but you know, once you get it set up, especially if you're using a 6 or a 7 iron, you might just leave it that way. You know, that way you don't have to adjust it every single time or reset it up. And if you have someone else that is with you, then you just take your setup, go into that impact position and have them adjust it, because it's easier if somebody sets it up, helps you. Okay, so if you have any questions, you know, feel free to email us and we can help you out as much as possible. So hopefully this DVD will give you some instruction on how to work with your impact station.